Welcome to Broke Ass to Badass, where heart-led entrepreneurs learn to build the businesses and lives of their dreams with confidence, ease, and joy. This is the anti-hustle movement, and we're your coaches in badassery, Kimi and Pua.
Find out more at bledigital.com, and wherever you're listening to this, be sure to click subscribe so you never miss an episode.
In this episode, we talk with Mike Lloyd, photographer, educator, and podcaster extraordinaire. Mike is so fun, and we just love the way he works and thinks and teaches. In this episode, Mike shares his inspiring story of entrepreneurship. He talks with us about how he started his photography business without any background in photography and how he used photography workshops, teaching photography workshops as a way to simultaneously fund his dream and also expedite his learning. You'll get to hear how and why he developed his really unique cinematic style and how he helps small businesses to communicate through storytelling and problem solving, and how he teaches his students to give their clients an experience they can't help but tell their friends about. Whether you're a photographer or not, you're going to love this value-packed episode. Welcome, Mike, to the podcast. We are excited to talk with you today.
What's up, badasses? How's it going?
Oh, this is going to be fun. We know it. So yeah, oh my gosh, where do we want to start? Well, first of all, we just love your energy. You're so fun, and it's been really a joy getting to know you a little bit since we were on your podcast, actually. And yeah, and then it's been fun to kind of see what you do in your community and what you're all about with your podcast. And you have a really interesting podcast in that you are a photographer, and the podcast is for photographers and their business, but you don't interview photographers. You interview people that could support photographers with their business. Is that right? Do I have that right? That was like the very long description of what you do.
Yeah, totally. So I am the only photographer that doesn't interview photographers on my show. And all of us got into photography because we love taking pictures, and no one's like, man, I sure love accounting and writing sales copy. That's not a thing we realize we need to know until later on. So I bring on copywriters and CPAs and insurance agents. And despite what that might sound like, it's actually a really fun, entertaining show, as you said yourself. So yeah, that's the gist right there.
Awesome. And so what are the other ways that you, of course you are a working photographer, and we definitely want to hear more about that because your style is so unique. That's one of the things we've really enjoyed, following your Instagram, and just, you have a really unique style with your photography. And we have fantasies of flying to see you and having you doing a photo shoot with you because gosh, the images are just gorgeous. So maybe start there. Maybe tell us a little bit about your journey as a photographer, and then we can get into some of the different ways that you support other photographers.
Totally. Thank you for the kind words. I went to school for business, and I graduated in 2009 during our Great Recession, and there was like no work. So I moved to France because I effing love France. And I worked out there teaching English, and I came home with no job and no money. And I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do? So I started a web design company, actually, and I built websites for people. And I hated every minute that I was alive. Like it ripped my soul away, writing code all day and all night and all the time. So I went on this like transcendentalist hunting trip with my dad in Wyoming. And while I was gone away from the computer for like a week and a half, I'm like, I am never going to build another goddamn website as long as I'm alive. So I came home, I resigned from, it's like my company. I like gave up my half of the company and decided I'm going to be a professional photographer. So I registered that, and I'm like, well, I guess I better learn photography because I've never taken a photography class. I teach them all over the country, and I've never taken one. So I would like literally go onto YouTube or something and see a cool photo someone did, and then just fool around, figure out how they created those certain techniques, and built up my portfolio there. And then as a way to finance it all, I taught workshops. And again, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I mean, like some buttons made it darker, some buttons made it lighter. So when I wanted to get rolling and like legitimize myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach a workshop in how to do whatever the next thing is I'm going to learn. And I offered a workshop and I sold seats. And then I'm like, cool, I have 2 weeks to learn how to do this thing. And I did that for like 2 years, just learning ahead of the classes, teaching along the way to pay for all of it. And I mean, I had to make the classes really cool and interesting for people to sign up. So that's what I learned was the cool, interesting stuff. And then I didn't want to do any of the boring stuff. So that's how I got my start and built my portfolio and just shooting all the things I didn't end up liking and all the things I ended up liking. And it sort of worked its way into these two, really unique styles, that dramatic film noir look for the boudoir, which I absolutely love. And no one else really shoots that, at least not in my area. And then that epic cinematic, like movie style look that I do for all the rest of my work, for like advertising, promotional posters, my corporate gigs, stuff like that. I want to make people look like a movie poster, a magazine cover, like larger than life. And I love getting to be as creative as I want. And then also showing people like, you're awesome, you're a badass, you should be on a poster or a cover of something, and empowering people through my work that way.
Freaking epic. I'm like, I thank you for sharing your story with everybody, because there are people out there sitting there saying, I want to die. This job is sucking my soul away, and thinking that they don't have any other options.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't even know what I was doing when I decided to register this business. And it's gone through several iterations. So just because you start one thing doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. It probably won't, realistically. Every overnight success, they say, is 15 years in the making. And I'm like, no, I'm going to kick ass right away. And I'm just going to get this right the first time. I don't know if that was my naivete or just my ambition, maybe both, probably both. But I was going to make it happen one way or another. And failure wasn't an option. So that was it. I just learned it and gave myself no other choice.
So awesome. I remember being so frustrated. Okay, so you and I think, have sort of similar stories. We both came out of school during the recession when there were no jobs. And I moved to China. You moved to France just for fun. I don't know. Yep. It seemed like a good idea at the time. And the one thing I remember being so frustrated, like I came back. I was like, China, not for me. See you later. And when I came back, I could not get a job because I didn't have any experience. And I feel like that's just like kids out of college, people changing careers. If you don't have experience, people don't want you. And I think that's so backwards, because the people who are the most knowledgeable are the ones who are self-taught in something they're passionate about. Hands down.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. So thank you for putting that out into the world and saying, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, but it sounded cool, and I thought it would be enjoyable, so I learned how to do it. Like, it's so powerful, and we forget that we have the choice to dive into something that sounds fun and learn how to do it any day we want.
Yeah, and one of the things that I teach all of my own, coaching students in my workshops, whatever it is I'm doing, is to get to know your ideal client. You have to know what problem it is you're solving. Because for me, it's not that they want photos. I mean, everyone has an iPhone or whatever. They can take their own photos, but the photos do something else. It's more than that. So, high school senior photos, like, oh, you could be a model for the day. Like that's what a lot of people advertise, but it's not why people sign up. And those aren't the successful ways to approach it. So when you approach the parents instead, and you're like, hey, your son or daughter is about to move out, go off to college, hold on to this opportunity, and let's do a special photo shoot to mark this huge transition in your lives and celebrate, the last leg of this race that is their childhood before they're officially adults. Like that's what a senior portrait's all about. Like with wedding photos, everyone puts so much time, money, energy, and like loses relationships and everything over planning weddings because they're so stressful and they want every detail to go right. And then the day of the wedding, it's like you have the schedule to go to, and people are getting drunk and like knocking over tables, and somebody didn't show up. And then like somebody's uncle hits on one of the bridesmaids who's like 16. And like all this shit is just going down and it's chaos, right? But when you look back at those,
just kidding.
I believe that. When you look back at those photos, they want to remember the wedding the way they planned it, not necessarily the way it went down. And so as a wedding photographer, you're shooting all of those things in this almost like fantasy style, documenting this perfect day when, behind the scenes, it was madness and chaos. So the real problem that we're solving is not that they want photos, but they want to remember the day as they planned it. Or, the kids are back in town from college for 1 week a year, and this is the only chance the family gets together. So mom wants photos of the family to show everybody together because it's their only opportunity. That is the problem that you're solving. It's way bigger than the photos. The photos are just the vehicle. And as soon as you can start to understand that, you can build any business. As long as you understand what problem you're solving for people, like the real problem, not the superficial, cheese ball problem, the one that gets people to open their wallet.
Wow.
Brilliant. Drop the mic, man.
What's the cheese ball problem?
It's like literally clipped to my shirt. I can't drop this microphone.
It's okay. I hear that's bad for the mics anyway.
Figuratively, yeah, I can body slam it. If you hear me. Yeah.
Body slam. Wow. So is that where you start when you work? So you do some branding, right? So
yeah.
Let's talk about the branding and marketing consulting that you do for small businesses. I'm sure this idea too of like what pain are you solving comes into play there. Tell us a little bit about that service that you provide. Who is it for, and what does that work look like with your clients?
So small businesses, I mean, in what the dictionary definition, it's like anyone under, it's something like 25 million in revenue or something like that, which just shows the scale of how big businesses can get. But I'd rather work with like the solopreneurs or, a small team of maybe 3 to 4 people in whatever company they're doing. And, I do marketing consulting for a $250 million construction company. I coach photographers. I've done work for nutritionists, personal trainers, hairstylists, like all kinds of different businesses. And essentially it's like you have a passion, you want to do something, and you don't know how to get people to find you. And I found that the most common problems that business owners face is that they don't know who they're serving and they don't know what they're actually offering. Because if you know those two things, then you can build everything else around it and the pieces just fall into place. So an example, well, I guess we could just stick with the photographer route, or I don't know, surprise me, throw something at me. Let's see what we can work out here. What's a common industry that you both work with?
Oh my gosh, it's so all over the place.
It is all over the place.
How about like fitness and weight loss? That's a pretty common thing. Okay, so I was just helping a dietitian the other day. She's doing an online course and wasn't sure what to call it, how to phrase it, how to do any of the marketing for it, how to get people in. And it's like, okay, well, who are your clients? And for her, she'd already figured this out. Busy moms who like don't have time to do tons of meal prep and have good, healthy food around all the time. It's like I have 8 seconds to stuff this bagel in my mouth before the kids like light the house on fire, or I have to run out the door and drive them to soccer practice. So like, okay, cool. You know your client, you know the problem. They want healthy food. They want to provide good, healthy food for the kids as well, and they don't have time. They also don't have time to go to the gym because kids and work and taking care of the house and all of that stuff. So we had to put together, the real problem. And yes, that is a pretty good like breakdown of it already. but you can't list all of those things in one headline for an ad, for example, or the name of a program. So you have to identify one particular problem and then build everything around that. And so identified the moms. It's an age range, it's behaviors, it's where do they buy clothes, where do they shop, where do they hang out, what kind of blogs do they read, websites, YouTube channels, where are these specific people? And once we know that, we know where they are. So you can run YouTube ads and Facebook ads, and you can do sponsored posts in magazines and blogs and wherever else this audience is. So you can get outside the traditional, magazines or TV ads, radio commercials, things like that aren't targeted at all. But you can get really, really specific with your targeting, which saves you a lot of money in the long run. And then what is the message that you're actually saying? Just speak directly to the problem. Do you want to, and you can't just break it down like, do you want to live a healthier lifestyle, but you just don't have time? Because nobody wants you to highlight their shortcomings or their problem. And that's a huge thing too if you're running Facebook ads. Like, they literally don't allow you to do this. So you can't be like, are you really overweight? Like, well, maybe, but that's not how you're going to grab somebody's attention and get them to go like, yeah, I am. I'm totally going to click on this thing. Because, right, who would do that? So you have to highlight the solution. It's like, do you want to, live a healthier lifestyle even though you don't have any more time? Or here are 7 ways that you can exercise throughout the day, even if you never make it to the gym. And offering solutions that speak to their problem that are as approachable as you can possibly make them. And it's just a long process of like boiling everything down to check the boxes and then testing things. I think it's fun. I read so many psychology books and just study consumer behavior way more than I study photography, because that's just inherent for me. And once I know what I'm doing and the story I'm telling, I can just create the photo, the video, the writing, whatever else it may be. But really understanding who I'm speaking to and what do they really want, I think that's the fun part. And that's really what is going to help any business get off the ground and build momentum.
It's such a powerful exercise. And I completely agree. Like this is the other half of owning a business that can feel heavy to people who aren't quote unquote business people, which, like, newsflash, if you own your business, you're a business person. Yep. And it's so it can be fun. And I love, is that called the problem, agitate, solve formula that you just
essentially
sort of, and it's cool because it freaking works. Like, yep. And it's not about, I think people get tripped up here too, because they feel that if they're creating like copy or images or ads that are triggering buyer psychology, they feel like it's slimy. They're like, oh, I don't want to, like, I just want to see what I do and just solve problems. I don't want to have to trigger somebody's psyche. But in the noisy world of Facebook and online advertising, it's important to at least capture people's attention. And then from there, right, it's like bring yourself into it, bring your energy, your personality, your vibration into that experience as they go down that rabbit hole of awesomeness. But really, like, capturing people's attention, you have like less than a second in that scroll to really make people stop and read. So dead on. I love that you touched on that.
And it's not even just so I thought the same thing when I was first getting into this. Like, I don't want to manipulate people. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like one of the like slimy pickup artist people trying to sell my wares, my snake oil on the corner. And I just felt gross. Like, I wanted to take a shower after I was like reading stories about people doing this. But then I found other people who like did it the right way, and they changed the way that I looked at this whole approach. And it's not so much that you're finding ways to manipulate people. You're learning how to speak your client's language. Mm-hmm. It's like, if they're the round hole, you can't be the square peg. You have to be the round peg for this thing to work out. And in learning to speak your client's language, like, literally doing your research to find out how they phrase certain things. For example, in photography, people don't buy family portraits. They Google family photos, things like that, right? Photographers are going to word things differently than their clients are if they don't understand how their clients really think and speak and behave. So you have to be able to phrase things in the terms and to seek the benefits your clients actually want. And it's really not that scary or overwhelming a process. And what you learn along the way is going to give you so much power and just the ability to connect with the people that you want to serve in ways that you had no idea. One of the exercises I give to my coaching clients is that I tell them to make a list of 10 reasons somebody would hire you. And not just on the surface things. Because again, like for photographers, I did this exercise for my boudoir. So I'm like, all right, people have been asking me to shoot boudoir, and that's why I made the shift in my business to start doing it. Because I thought, like, as a 20-something-year-old straight dude, no one is going to hire me to shoot boudoir. But I was getting so many requests for it. I'm like, I guess this is a thing. Maybe I should pursue it. And now it's half my business, and I absolutely love it. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to be running ads, writing articles, content marketing, speaking to my clients, I need to know why they would want to hire me. And I started reading magazines and message boards, blogs, just everything that I could get my hands on to find out why people or why women have hired boudoir photographers. And I found so many other reasons, like for if a woman has breast cancer and she's about to have a mastectomy done, women will go in and get boudoir photos done before the surgery or after the surgery because they still want to have ownership of their body and celebrate who they are, the champion who beat cancer and kicked ass. And I think that's amazing. And I would never have thought of that. Or victims of domestic abuse who, have not felt ownership of their bodies in so long. And this is the first time in too long that they're doing something for themselves and really just owning who they are. And to be able to give that gift to someone is freaking amazing. And I had no idea that was something that I could even do for somebody or that they would even want. So in doing this, I'm learning so much more about my client and what, the real ways that I could serve them besides I can make you look like a model for a day.
Wow, I love that. You're so great at really connecting with your audience. I just sense that you're like a community builder too. You have an amazing Facebook group and you put out challenges to the photographers in your community and just the way that you speak to those that are listening to your podcast. I love the way that, it's like you're so service oriented and so community minded. Can you share with us a little bit about your Facebook group? Because I know that's a place that you spend some time and you play and you do challenges, right, for other photographers and invite people to, you do like a Photo Friday challenge?
Yeah, we do Friday photo challenges every week. So my Facebook community, Photogs Unite with an exclamation mark, same name as the podcast and the website and everything else I do photography education wise, which again, I think is really great for any small business. I put the concepts in the context of photography, but because I'm interviewing, and bringing guests on from every walk of life and every industry, anyone can benefit from this. But the group is a cool place. I did it because my business coach told me to. We share the same business coach, by the way, Kelly Roach, if anyone.
Yes.
Same reason I started
awesome.
my podcast. Yeah, she's like, do it. And I'm like, no, why would I do a podcast about photography? She's like, do it anyway. So, and I'm so thankful because I know I'm a better human and I built this community around them. Yeah, she knows her stuff. So anyway, with the group, it's been great because I get to do like a live Q&A video every Monday afternoon and just watching the numbers grow and more people tuning in live and commenting later on, emailing questions in, building a community around that has been awesome. And then again, doing that helps me learn what my students really want to know and what they really struggle with so that I can better serve them. And yeah, I write articles, I do the blog, I do the group, and I don't charge for any of that. But then when I build my online courses, I know exactly what people want to learn, and there's no guessing. I'm not building something and then trying to figure out how to sell it. I build what I know people already want to buy, and then it just works itself out. But we do the Friday photo challenges, as you mentioned, and that's just a cool way I get to pick topics. Usually, if I've done a cool shoot during the week and there's a new thing that I got to work on, or pumpkin spice lattes finally came back, and so that week was like fall themed, or whatever it might be. And it encourages photographers to go out and photograph something based on the individual elements, whether it's the color red or something round or something that you love, something important to you, something small, something large. And when you start looking at the world in terms of all the components that make it up, you start to appreciate all the little things, and you find some hidden gems in your day-to-day life that you might not have noticed before.
So awesome. Can non-photographers come in and do that on their iPhones and stuff?
Hell yeah.
Epic. Everybody's going to start joining your group.
Do it.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really inspired to take part because I'm obsessed with the portrait mode on my iPhone, which is as professional as I get with my photography, but it's pretty epic. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I don't have one of those new fancy iPhones. I'm still, I think, using the 6.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
they'll make yours break soon.
They will. I know.
How they
My
do
last
it.
one bent. I had the 5, and it was like bowed. I noticed it one day when I put it down on the table, and it was like rocking back and forth long ways.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
Do you put it in your back pocket? Sometimes.
I must have, like, that day or that week or something, because almost never. But I must have. I don't know. It worked just fine, but I'm like, I don't know that this is going to work next week, like literally the shape that it's in. So I went and bought this one. But yeah, I think phones are amazing. I shoot tons of video on mine. I mean, you can do like 4K video on your smartphones now. And with the slow-mo feature, I do that all the time. I love that. Yeah, you don't need $50,000 worth of gear to shoot cool stuff. Actually, one of the new projects that we're working on with my editor and we are going to be doing releasing like a shot list, essentially, of all the cool ways that you can take video on your phone at a wedding, at a boudoir shoot, at a family shoot, all shot with your phone. And then she's going to take all those clips and edit them up and do a cool behind the scenes photo or behind the scenes video, either as a way to promote your studio or as another product you can sell your clients. Because I did one a couple months ago where my stylist and I just took turns. Like if I was shooting, she used her phone to do video of me working. And then while she did hair and makeup and the touch-ups and stuff, I did video with my phone. And then we just sent all of the video to my editor. And then I sat down and like interviewed my client and recorded the audio. And so we did just this gorgeous behind the scenes video of this maternity boudoir session and got some really good just insight and feedback from my client to, overcome other clients' objections, because that's the real purpose of all your testimonials. But it's just a beautiful testimonial video with actual footage from the shoot and then photos from the shoot edited in there as well. The whole thing was shot on our phones. So you can do
awesome.
Your phones. Yeah.
We always tell our clients when we tell them, take photos, do videos, and they're like, well, okay, I need to get this camera, I need to get this tripod set up, I gotta like have everything perfect. So maybe today is the day that they listen to us when a professional photographer is saying, I do stuff on my iPhone and it works totally fine. And especially video. Like, I feel like that's the thing that people are like, oh, I'll just wait until I have everything all set up. And like, there's no reason to wait.
No, because you can always get more, bigger, better stuff. It's just an excuse. The one thing that will break your video is shitty audio. That like people can deal with sort of okay video, but if your audio sucks, then they're gone. So you can go onto Amazon and buy a $30 lavalier mic that's made for your phone, and it just like clips into the headphone jack or wherever your phone lets things clip in now. And you can do your Facebook Lives with that and not have to worry about picking up all the ambient noise, and it's amazing.
That's a great tip. Great tip for people.
$30. That's all you need.
Perfect. Wow. Awesome. So, okay. So you have your own photography business. You're also a coach. You have a podcast. You have a lot of things going on. You travel, we know. And so what are your productivity secrets? Because clearly you're killing it in the efficiency area.
As we talked about, I have like literally a box, like the gallon of coffee sitting next to me. I drink a lot of coffee. I found my why, and that's I think the biggest thing is like I have a purpose for doing all of these things. It's not like I'm going to work to make somebody else money, and doing it for the money isn't what's gonna keep anyone in the game, really. I mean, maybe some people, but very few. It can't be about the money. It has to be about actually serving your clients, whoever they are, and then the money will follow and things grow from there. But if you're just chasing the money, people can smell that authenticity or the lack of authenticity, and they're gone. It's not sustainable. But I love teaching workshops. I love teaching photographers, helping them start their business, quit their day jobs, or even just like getting better as a side hustle or a hobby on the weekends, whatever their goal might be, and whatever another business owner might be into, whether it's fitness or anything, being able to start monetizing that to get their business up and going and living that dream, watching somebody get to do that and helping them get that machine rolling is incredible. And I had no idea how much I was going to love that part of it when I first got into it. I wanted to be like the famous photographer who like got out of the limo, walked down the red carpet into the award ceremony, and had to fight off the crowd of wanton fans. But then I like learned that once I got in and saw the power that the photos and video that I create have on people, and how I can help them see the awesomeness that's already inside of them that they may not have realized was there in the first place. Because like I can't make somebody good looking, I can't make somebody awesome, but people already have that inside of them. And I've found a way to show them what's already there. And watching somebody break down and cry when they see their photos for the first time, and they're like, I lose my shit, like everyone's crying, that's freaking amazing. And that's why I do what I do. And that's what keeps me going as often as I do this.
That was such a good answer.
Great answer. Great answer. Do what you love.
Like, I hope people are hearing this, because, and we used to say, productivity without purpose is just busyness. Yep. And it's so true. Like the things that even when you're doing something mundane for whatever you love, it's fun. It's so crazy. Like if someone's out there, they're like, I don't believe you. Then I challenge you to find something you love to do and find something that's boring, but allows you to do what you love to do in some way, shape, or form while you do the boring thing. Like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's true. I don't know where I'm going with that. I love so much that answer. And it really matters. And I just love that you are out there encouraging people to not waste any more time doing shit that they hate.
Yeah. And on that, outsourcing can be your new best friend. I was not on that train because I didn't think that whatever I had to pay out or control I would give up would be worth the benefit. And holy shit, was I wrong. I, let somebody else edit my podcast and my videos and book my podcast guest. I mean, I definitely find people that I want to bring on my show, and then I send them over to my assistant, and she finds the contact info and gets them on the show and like books me all kinds of other awesome people, scheduling my social media out. I mean, I create all the content, and then I let somebody else process and distribute everything, because that's the part that I don't enjoy. So I can just focus on the things that I love doing, that I'm really good at, and somebody else who's very detail oriented and loves the tasks. Because I'm the visionary. I'm the one moving the pieces around the map in the war room, but I'm not down on the field actually doing the operations. So learning that I have that role has been amazing, because I don't feel the stress of like, now I have to go on and like write 3 weeks worth of Instagram posts, or now I have to sit here and like tediously edit my video and my podcast, because I don't enjoy that. And I just wouldn't get it done. And if I did get it done, it wouldn't be very good. And that also gets you out of the excuse that, I can't release this until it's perfect, even though it's not your jam, you're not good at it, because then it's never, there's no such thing as perfect anyway. But that's a common excuse people have. And if you can just hand those tasks off to somebody else who loves doing that thing, then it's going to be better than you ever did, and you didn't spend any time on it. And watching things get done that you didn't do is amazing.
Wow. Speaking our language. We love it. We love it. Oh my goodness. Well, we could talk with you forever, but we won't keep you here forever. So we'll definitely be including everything in the show notes, but give us the quick links for everybody as they're listening to this right now. Where can they get plugged into all things Photogs Unite?
So Photogs Unite with the exclamation mark is the name of the podcast, photogsunite.com. There's no exclamation mark in the URL because it's a URL. Or join the Facebook group, Photogs Unite. And if you want to see my actual photo business, it's Mike Lloyd Photography. It's MikeLloydPhoto.com or at Mike Lloyd Photo on Instagram. And please reach out, connect with me. I'm happy to help out however I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been so fun. We can't wait to see what you create next. And we just feel so grateful that it's been a joy getting to know you. And so thank you for the wonderful work you're doing in the world. And we can't wait till we fly to see you for our photo shoot.
Thanks.
We're putting that vision out there.
Yeah, and thank you for having me on your show. I got to say, we dropped significantly fewer F-bombs on your show than mine.
Oh, maybe we can go back and put some in, like just edit some in.
Yeah, just edit them in. Yeah, perfect. And I know I'm also not opposed to flying out to Hawaii to photograph you both out there.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. All right. Awesome. Well, you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. And we'll be sure again to send everybody your way.
Peace out, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed this episode with Mike. Take a screenshot of this episode on your smartphone, tag at Photogs Unite and at Broadcast to Badass to let Mike know that you enjoyed this one. And we know that after listening to this episode, and really after checking out his beautiful Instagram, you're going to want to know how you can schedule a photo shoot with Mike, either for you or for your business or both. So check out his work at Instagram or Instagram.com. Mike Lloyd Photo, and you can also go to Photogs Unite. So go to photogsunite.com, check out the contact section, and just reach out to Mike to find out more about his services. He's doing a bit of a tour of the country and doing photo shoots over the next few months. He'll be in California, Virginia, Philadelphia. And also for sure, our Hawaii peeps, if he gets enough requests to do photo shoots here, he's going to make a trip to the island. So let's make that happen. We'll be sure to include everything in the show notes. And last but not least, please join us in the Broadcast to Badass tribe on Facebook. We have some exciting things coming up there, so definitely get plugged in. And if you're looking for support on your journey building your badass online business, that is absolutely the place to go. It's our favorite place to hang out, and we are there, and our community is there to support you. So it's rockin'. We can't wait to get to know you there. Get plugged in, bledigital.com/tribe.